This is Park Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, January 25th, 2024. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we do have a quorum. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes for December 14th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. I just want to thank those who zoomed in. There wasn't a lot on the agenda, but it's important to recognize the people that donate to the,
Yeah. Well, we zoomed in the office there.
and then the power went out afterwards.
That's right.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. New business. Nature Playground at Lawrann. Mike?
Yep, I'll take that one. Our goal for this evening was to have the entire project together and cost estimates to bring it before the commission and basically the community, and we did not get it far enough along in the planning process. So we do not have anything to present this evening. Rick's done a great job. He has the entire package together. We're still working on probably phasing the entire process, and we want to make sure we have good cost estimates when we bring it forward. It's not going to be, well, it's going to cost about this. No, it's going to cost this or that. So we don't have anything formally to bring before the commission this evening. But the memo was great that Rick provided, and it shows kind of the area that we are proposing. The nature playground is going to be a really exciting asset to our park system and the community, because it's not a put together piece by piece playground like we have, and our playground systems are very popular, the slides and the towers and all that. This type of playground, it's getting the kids outside, getting them to use these hands and their brains and their minds and their hearts to build and construct and create things out in a natural setting. So we want to give them a safe place to do it. We want to provide them a good start with some of these tools and opportunities out there, and let them explore and learn some things maybe about themselves. So it's going to be an exciting project. Unfortunately, we just weren't. I was hoping we would be ready for this evening. We just weren't. So that's why the agenda already went out. We just decided, you know what, if we're going to do, we want to make sure we present the right product with all the accurate information. So this evening, we're asking for no approval or direction with that topic.
Is funding there? All the funding? Or?
No, and that's part of it, and thank you for bringing it up, and I actually had it right here. So at everyone's place setting, I did provide a list, and this is a really general list of the different fundraising opportunities we have annually within the park system. And the projects we're going to talk about tonight, a lot of these projects we need to fundraise for. So we haven't even started a fundraising process yet, Mike, with this. And that's one of the things we want to make sure we clarify with the Friends of Lac Lawrann. They have fundraising opportunities already. So if we start another project out there, how will that impact them with some of their donations? So we just want, again, before we bring this forward, we want to make sure everything's kind of ready to go. So, and I look at the community as a whole, how many projects can we fundraise for at one time? Yes. You know, so again, we have a lot of cool and exciting projects out there. Rick will be talking about the Regner Arches soon. Skate Park's going to be discussed this evening. So we have some of those projects that are out there already. Are we ready to bring another large project on? And I think with the nature playground, the phasing aspect will be more palatable to the community as far as fundraising, and just the fact we just want to in-house we can do a lot of the startup work. We can start using it without fundraising for $50,000, $60,000, $80,000. We can do it we can get it operational with the basics for a lot less. So we'll bring that all before the commission again, but with the nature playground and the other projects this evening, that's why I wanted to kind of bring this list back out. It's been about a year since the commission's seen this list. It's a lot of good stuff going on. It's a lot of fundraising. We just we need to make sure our priorities are set as far as what our goals are, so. Thank you.
Thank you. And then 2024 project review. Do we want to talk about that some more? Or what?
We'll have Rick start.
Okay.
I'll pick it up from here. I've got a few projects that we have scheduled for this year. A quick listing of them. The cabin at Ridge Run. We have a whole list of improvements to improve its use. The Regner Park Camp Lodge, we've completed what we'll call phase 2 of 3 or more phases of improvements this year. And I'll talk a little bit about where we hope to take that. Villa Park's getting a new playground as part of our capital budget. We'll be implementing that this summer. Security cameras at 4 different sites. The tree surety contract includes street tree plantings as well as replacement trees at Regner, Riverwalk, and other projects around the city. The Quas Creek parking lot maintenance, Regner Park Main Street entry that Mike mentioned, the Lawrann facility improvements. There's a few projects that their board has approved to proceed this year, and the Ice Age trailhead off of Washington Street is also ready to proceed. The cabin at Ridge Run, our improvements are listed there. Exterior improvements include replacing the entry roof that is just tacked on at the entrance with a nicer gabled entry that'll protect from rain as you enter and exit the building. Siding repairs, painting. We have some masonry repairs of the chimney that need to be done, cracking that's visible from the outside, and we'll be replacing the entry door. As far as the interior, we want to give it a whole new facelift with flooring, paneling, a new ceiling, lighting. We're going to install a gas fireplace insert that will make the fireplace usable, a storage closet, and a second exit door in the back that will really help us meet code for the capacity that the building's rated for. I should also mention that we're adding an exterior deck to take advantage of the shade of the spruce trees where the building sits. This is a budget of about $110,000 to $125,000, depending on whether or not we're able to accept a bid alternate, which would be to add a sink, which would improve the use of the building. So we hope to have this out to bid in the next month to 45 days with a construction slated for fall of this coming year.
And that'll be rentable, I take it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. So we would expect it to be unavailable for rentals for about 3 months, the end of this year. We do have a anonymous donor who's excited about the project and is looking to see us proceed. So.
Good.
The Camp Lodge improvements at Regner, the first project executed a few years ago was to reconstruct the restrooms and kitchenette. This past year, we replaced all of the exterior windows, the front door, and added a second egress door on the backside. You see the replacement door, steel doors in place. It'll be painted this spring when it warms up. You can see the one shot of the new windows on the north side. And the fireplace insert, which again made the fireplace usable, and it was in disrepair. So we think this is going to add a lot to the experience of renting the cabin. future phase, we're hoping to be able to fund improvements in 2025 or 26, would include an interior facelift, flooring, paneling, lighting, roof, etc. Villa Park's new playground is funded in this year's CIP at $70,000. The new playground equipment and associated materials have a total value of about $110,000. The budget's made possible because we received a grant from Game Time for $45,630. So they're going to get a nice new playground with updated equipment that replaces a really old, worn out equipment. The new playground will go within, would be placed within the footprint of the existing playground. It includes one apparatus, which is a 2 to 5 year old structure, and then a second 5 to 12 year old playground structure. New swing sets, and on the right you can see the the swing set is just off the path to the west. We're able to maintain all of the existing walkways. That's a huge savings to the project. They are in good shape, and they are wheelchair accessible. Next project is security cameras. The locations are the Regner Park Entertainment Area and Cuss Field, and also the Riverside Park Pavilion and the Quas Creek Main Concession Building. This planning will be done in conjunction with the city IT department. They are coordinating with the police department so that these new monitoring devices can be monitored by police department.
You're not supposed to tell them where they're at.
Yeah,
We want them to know where they're at.
well, there's more out there.
This year's tree planting contract came in within budget. We had budgeted $98,000 to plant 285 trees. We had a favorable bid of roughly $78,000, so we're well within budget. We're going to plant 108, I think it is, trees as part of the free street tree program. The map on the left shows the distribution of those trees all over the city. It's proven to be a very popular program. Part of this contract is to plant 49 trees as replacements for road reconstruction projects, that being South Laurel and Pennsylvania Avenue. The 18th Street demonstration project, where we have street trees on display for residents to look at different species to assist in making decisions on selection of trees, is going to get 10 new plantings as replacements. Regner Park is going to get 41 trees that will serve to replace the canopy, the tree canopy. And the Riverwalk phases 2, 3, and 4 are going to have 54 trees planted in the newly developed areas on the west side of the river. Part of this budget is a DNR grant we received. We were just awarded at the end of December in the amount of $25,000. Part of that grant will go to pay for staff training and also a tree identification program we're looking to implement, where we'll attach tree tags that will have QR codes that people can scan to get specific information on tree species almost immediately. So we also anticipate that code will take you to a place to show you show you city maps of tree plantings and where they can find different species planted.
Is it the same people that won the grant again as always? I mean, or won to put them in? Who's putting the trees in?
We have hired a contractor. It was put out to bid in November. Dan Larson Landscapes is the contractor.
That's what I'm happy about.
They've
They do a
been,
good job.
they've been with us a number of years.
Exactly.
They do a great job planting, good plant material, and they do a great job with our customers.
Yep, that's what I wanted to hear.
I haven't looked at it in a while. Do those tags on the trees tell you when it was planted so they know what it'll look like in the certain years?
The tags I've seen that we've installed to date, some are memorial trees, and so they may memorialize a person. Other trees that are tagged, for example, along the Riverwalk, Vespocket Park, there are some trees tagged, indicate the tree species, and that's about the extent of it. So we're hoping to expand the information that we can provide to people, educate them. Quas Creek's parking lot will get some maintenance, including pavement cleaning of oil spills, so forth. They'll check and fill any new cracks, apply a coal tar sealer, and repaint the stalls. We've budgeted $25,000 for this work. As Mike mentioned before, the Regner Park main entry, Main Street entrance archway is in fundraising status right now. We worked with the Regner Rejuvenation Committee, as well as a few commissioners that took part in reviewing the plans. The Main Street arch evolved from the earlier concepts by adding limestone columns, which we think really do a nice job of referencing back to the historical architecture of Regner, which dates back to the 1930s during the WPA era. The archway design was so popular with the committee that they asked us to then expand the design to include secondary entrance signs off of Park Avenue at the north entrance and the entry drive to the beach house, as well as to Cuss Field. So you see different images of what those signs might look like. It's a fundraising effort that amounts to the Main Street entry arch alone would be about $146,000 for that structure. If all four structures were implemented at once, we'd have a construction budget of about $320,000. An additional $20,000 for design, documentation, and bidding costs. So for a total of $339,000 project.
How close are they getting to that amount?
Well, I believe at this point there are no funds identified. Lawrann's board recently approved 3 projects. We're going to add one more solar light at the entry drive to the parking lot. Last year we installed 2 solar lights. 3 exist now around that parking lot. This is a light fixture that's self-contained and is installed by park staff. The second project, I should add that the solar light cost is about $8,500. The second project is the walkway ramp on the south side of the Marin Center. The current ramp is made of asphalt, and gravity's playing its role, and causing movement. So a new concrete walk will be widened out and a new handrail added later this spring. Another project that is high priority is repainting the Marin Center. That has a budget of about $30,000, which we are going to review in late summer for final approval by the board to proceed. Finally, the Ice Age Trail, new trailhead on the south side of Washington Street will provide direct access into the Ridge Run portion of the Ice Age Trail, where currently they have to reroute several thousand feet to the east on University to get into the park. This will be a direct access. The drawings show a 50-foot wide bridge over what's the name? Over the swamp, exactly. Over the creek that connects up to the existing Ridge Run trail. And that also includes a 150-foot long boardwalk. We've completed the permitting process, and Ice Age Trail has already hired a contractor, and they're scheduled to start installation in May.
And that's funded through the Ice Age?
100% through the Ice Age Trail Alliance. That's correct.
There's going to be parking spots too, right, on Washington Street for that, at the trailhead?
Parking is not a part of this project. There's been some conceptualized drawings developed. Ice Age Trail does not have funding for that portion. However, the benefits connecting up from the Ice Age Trail sections to the north in Glacial Blue Hills, it's a more direct route at the controlled intersection right there on Washington into this part of the site.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
And moving on, Dan.
A couple things that I'm going to be presenting tonight. First one, Villa Park 9 Square. It's a game that the neighborhood group has gotten together and purchased with some grant, I believe, as well. We took delivery of that equipment last fall. From what I'm gathering, it's like the kids are each in a square and they hit the ball back and forth, and then if you don't hit it, you're out. So it's kind of like volleyball a little bit to me, and almost like a tic-tac-toe configuration. So
It looks like you have to have 9 kids play, otherwise.
Yeah. They purchased it and they will be installing it. They're going to put it together up on the already established asphalt up by the basketball courts. They don't want to anchor it down or anything because they want to be able to make it movable if they want to move it somewhere else. So they're going to try to do that early May.
Will it be taken down in the winter?
We haven't really talked about that. More than likely, I don't think so. I think it'll just stay up
Oh,
there.
okay.
Galvanized
Permanent thing.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's actually pretty heavy duty. There's some that have been online that are made out of PVC pipe.
what I
They
was
put them right in
thinking.
the gyms and high schools and stuff. This one's actually quite
Oh,
substantial.
good.
Second project that's been going on here in the park, we've got heated restrooms up by the pavilion now. With some new entertainment coming to the park in winter, they put in and they got funding to have Bachfest, which then generated us putting in a heating unit into the existing building for a total of about 10 grand. I'm working with a contractor right now to insulate the building. He's gonna put R50 below that in. He's gonna have air chutes into all the soffit. He's gonna spray foam around any cracks and everything to seal that up for a total of about $4,800. Just talked to him today. He's hoping to start that within a week or two. With those 3 updates, these restrooms will then be open 12 months a year, which will benefit Enchantment, benefit Bachfest, and then huge ass bike race and everything else that we have in general operation.
It's a good addition.
Couple in-house projects that the crew and myself are gonna try to attempt to take on this year. Up by the Regner Pavilion, when we did that, we connected the two small buildings with that beautiful building we have up there. Where it's connected, all those fascia boards are starting to rot. Just the way the roof lines come down, water, for some reason, is getting trapped up there. So those boards need to be fixed. It's actually seeping through into some spots up into the pine tongue and groove on the inside. So we're definitely gonna have to do something with that. I don't know how much of that we'll be able to do. That might be a contracted job. Woodside shelter, that one's on there, but I also had the meadow shelter and possibly lakeside rolling around in the head that we might work on this year. Woodside is rented fairly often and it's in horrific shape. The posts are not even attached to the concrete anymore. They're probably about 1 inch to 2 inches off the concrete. So they're kind of hanging on the timber frame itself. The roof collapsed, part of it last spring. We kind of quick patched it. What I'm hoping to do is maybe when we have some time, maybe late August, if not earlier, try to squeeze it in. I'd like to tear the whole roof off, put a new roof on, replace those posts, and then work with a contractor to upgrade all the electrical. So this might be a test project with this one, and then we'll go from there to try to upgrade the others. Definitely one that we are gonna be working on is the archery range. It's been established for quite a few years now. It's very popular. So where the targets are held, for lack of a better word, the target house, those frames are getting shot up really bad. The roofs are, people are hitting that more than they're hitting the target. So, yeah, we're gonna look at, hopefully rebuilding all those. We've had some issues because the way the targets we used in the beginning compared to the targets we use now are a little bit tighter fit. So we have to come up with some sort of design to make it easier for us to change the targets in and out. We actually had to cut some of the posts and do some patchwork, and we'd like to have something that's a little bit easier for the guys. What we'd also like to do is under each one, pour a small concrete slab and then have it mounted right there. So we haven't had any problems with sinking or, shifting at all. It's just something I thought might clean it up a little bit. Just to touch base before I talk a little bit about this, another project I was looking at doing was working with a contractor to level off behind the beach house. So undulated from everything sinking. Just trying to figure out what would be the best timeline for that with our busy schedule. So that's kind of in limbo as of right now. Riverwalk and downtown site amenities. We will continue to support downtown with all the new development that's going on downtown. We have dog stations that we're waiting to put in, trash receptacles, we have benches, which the Riverwalk benches are obviously donated. We have the benches in-house. Concepts that are coming forward, they want to use a lot of these same benches and trash cans on Main Street. So then we would be, I'm assuming, supporting that. This week has been a lot of talking about the Main Street planters, getting trees down onto Main Street. We have some meetings set up for next week to nail down those numbers, to get that going forward, to get planters in-house, and et cetera.
Do we know who's gonna maintain those? The Park Department?
As of right now, I'm under the impression that Parks will be taking care of the trees that are put in down there, and any planters or plantings as far as flowers, flower baskets would be like roots and branches
Or contractor,
contract.
paid for by the bid district. Yep.
Last thing I got, swim pond improvements this past fall, right around deer hunting. We pumped down the swim pond to reconstruct it for the inflatables that were purchased from Kewaskum. In-house, we rented the pump. We had to pump it on and off for about 2 straight weeks. If the pump shuts down, that diving well fills in overnight. There's so much water that comes into that pond in just a short period. So they, in essence, dug out further to the south, let's say, and we're gonna move the swim raft there, turn it 90 degrees, and then the diving well will be, you'll be diving north off the raft. To the north of that, the one picture on the bottom left, you can see there's some 3-inch stone with fines that was brought in, and he changed the grade, he brought it up. It's because the fall zone for the inflatables is 6 feet, so it didn't need to be as deep. So he filled it with that, and then he feathered it out to make a little bit more gradual incline coming out of the pond. That cost was roughly $12,300 for all that work. That price did not include the rental of the pump, which I couldn't find the receipt, but I believe it was almost $4,000 for the 2 weeks. And then all the spoils that they dug out when they dredged it, we hauled off-site in-house. We hauled for 3.5 days straight. So a lot of that cost we took care of by doing it in-house.
Are the anchors in place too?
No, the anchors, once we drain it in spring, then Ryan, myself, Mike, and our crew will work on where everything needs to be set, and then we'll put the anchors in. Because then we're gonna have to set them up so that floats come up, obviously, because we're not gonna be able to dive down there and tie these things on. So that's gonna be right away in spring.
All right, I've got a couple quick projects to touch on. Going off of what Dan just said with the pond excavation, getting the inflatables installed. So right now they are sitting at cold storage, or warm storage, excuse me, in the parks workshop. And as Dan was kind of alluding to, once weather's conducive to doing so, we'll kind of formulate a game plan as far as anchors, pond layout with the rope lines dividing the zones, and so on and so forth to get everything up to speed for 2024 at Regner. I will do a little bit more of a in-depth financial projection in February or March, but just to kind of highlight why implementing these is important. Last year in Regner, there was just under 13,900 people that used the water in some capacity. So even if 15% of those total users from 23 ended up using the Regner inflatable zone, that would generate 8,500 in new revenues for 2024. I'm hoping that 15% of those users is a conservative estimate, but definitely hoping to draw some new revenue and crowd to Regner with the implementation of these. Pickleball courts, I obtained 3 quotes from preferred contractors, 2 of which we had worked in the past, and then Mike McGuire, who I've done some programming with. Mike McGuire ended up having the low quote for the project, so we're gonna go ahead and proceed with him. The plan is to line and paint the courts in one afternoon in the spring when the weather allows us to do so. We had kind of talked briefly about it, and he said roughly 60 degrees throughout the day and overnight. He's thinking that that's an afternoon into the nighttime project, lock the gate, open it the next morning. It's good to be played on. We're doing this to help with the Rally for Regner Pickleball Tournament, which we're running with Mike McGuire, which I'll talk about in a bit when we get to the program fees for 24. It'll allow us to run 6 pickleball courts at once, so good for a tournament type situation, and then also the busier open play days when there's just groups of people wanting to play pickleball at Regner. Yeah, hoping to be able to utilize those courts for tournaments and so on. Skate park, so I'm gonna start with a quick history lesson on it, so bear with me. Mike was fortunate enough I was fortunate enough to have Mike put his trust in me to kind of take on this project. This is gonna be my first kind of experience with project management, I guess, so I'm excited that Mike has the trust in me to do so. But Mike had given me a bunch of emails, so just kind of sifting through. Skate park dates back to 2003, and I couldn't get the dollar amount. It was either $40,000 or $80,000 to purchase the skate park equipment by the Parks and Rec and the West Bend Rotary. It was then set up in the YMCA parking lot. A couple of years, things were good. August 2006, the YMCA requested that the skate park was moved and put into a new location in the next year. October 2007, the Parks Recreation Forestry Commission approved the concept plan to proceed with TID 12 money at the old Gale site. The site at that point was projected to not be ready until 2010. At that point in October 2007, the YMCA gave the Parks Rec Department another year to have the skate park in their parking lot. Fast forward to 2008, the Gale site still wasn't ready. A temporary site was needed because of the issue with the YMCA wanting it out. Barton Park was recommended to the Parks Rec Forestry Commission. Going forward into 2009, skate park was placed at the Barton tennis courts. Bunch of issues were reported. Cops were called frequently. Going into July 2009, there still wasn't any permanent location determined. The TID area at that point still wasn't looking to be ready until 2010 or 11. Things were rough enough at Barton that they changed the closing time of it from 11 p.m. to 9 p.m. due to skate park concerns. So then at this point, there were 5 sites proposed to the Parks and Rec Commission as permanent locations. Out of those 5 locations, Vine Street parking lot was selected and approved by the Parks and Rec Commission due to its visibility, access, and the cost of the project. Going into 2010, in February, an email stated that the city is not interested in placing the skate park in the Vine Street parking lot, so that kind of scratched that plan. In March, the equipment was removed from Barton. In May, no location found. Parks Rec Commission votes to store the skate park in outdoor storage until a location was found. So it was gone at that point. 2011, a skate park committee was formed, held its first meeting, mainly looking at locations. Into 2012, Parks Rec Forestry Commission approves the temporary site at the Gale location once again. For whatever reason, the next day, the Gale site was out of consideration due to environmental factors that were determined. The Clark Station on Main Street was then approved by the Board of Public Works at the Board of Public Works meeting. Location to be reviewed year after year. In May of 2012, equipment was moved there. And then fast forward into 2016, I believe that's when Rec Enterprise was created, and my hunch is that there hasn't been a whole lot of discussion on the skate park since then. So just kind of a quick history lesson, but I thought that that was important to share with you all. Which brings us to today, going back to the August Parks Rec Forestry Commission meeting that we had, meeting with Isaac Sharp out at the skate park. I've had a couple of discussions with him, so he will be starting a nonprofit for the skate park. It's going to be kind of a grassroots type situation to do all of the fundraising for. The kind of prospect for this is getting stakeholder input, whether it's citizens that want to be involved in it, parents of skateboarders, potential skateboarders, rollerblade, bike, any type of wheel sport, I should say. Site selection, so once we have kind of a committee together, discuss any possible site locations for the project, amenities that we would like to have at the project, start thinking about the design of the skate park, any type of budget that we would have, our request for proposal, and then work with the contractor that we would be proceeding with on finalizing the design, the timeline of construction, fundraising. So that is kind of where we were at with the skate park right now, in the very, very first steps of it, but a project that I'm definitely excited for moving into the future. Anything you want to add to that?
I guess the year 2012 sticks in my head. You know, that was a temporary site, and it's still there. With the downtown master plan, as I shared it with the commission, it's not just downtown, it's a greater downtown, and that impacts our current site. I can tell you developers, the district, people want that site open for parking and possibly other options in the future. The equipment we have there has done a great job being moved around, taken apart, being moved around many, many times. It needs to be replaced. We need a new location. We need the right location. So Ryan's done a great job putting together somewhat. The history is important, so we understand what we've done. That helps direct us as we move forward. I think that's very important. But Ryan's got a good game plan put together. I think we're going to have a good, we all met Isaac at our park tour. I think he's going to be a good leader for us for this topic. So again, when we talk fundraisers, the fundraising needs, I think our skate park's one of those. So. All right, my turn. All right, I'm going to move through this pretty quick. One project that has been mentioned very little is the Vine Street Trail Extension. In-house, we've talked about this project for a number of years, well over a decade. You can see it, I'm sorry, the aerial view is kind of tough. That's Decorah Elementary School. They're kind of center of the screen. Ziegler Park up on top. We always call it the Vine Street Extension, which is our trail that runs between the park and the school that connects the Hargrove Trillium subdivision off of Sand Drive. Those trail connections were installed a number of years ago. Basically, there was a DOT grant that we received. Those trails were installed so we could reduce the amount of busing we had for those kids over there. Literally, the kids in that subdivision would get on a bus, drive all the way around to Decorah Elementary School because there was no access there. We had rails of trails. The railroad went to trail. Still, we had no access once we put that access in, literally to reduce the number of buses the school district needed. And I kind of like the idea of kids getting up in the morning, walking to school or riding their bike, etc. So the trail's been very, very successful for us. Not only to connect that residential development, but it's also another trail connection for the Eisenbahn. The yellow line on the aerial view there is what we are proposing as a trail connection then all the way out to Sand Drive. So that way we have the new development coming in off of Sand Drive, anyone out off of Sand Drive, Richards, any of those, that residential neighborhood, they have that automatic trail connection to the Eisenbahn, to the elementary school, Ziegler Park, etc. Also with the ag fields over there that are still part of the town, eventually I would assume that would be part of the city. I don't know if it's going to be residential development, etc. But this trail connection I think would be very popular and well used for that neighborhood. If and when we move forward, we would bring the proposal before the commission. We would also send out notices to the neighbors over there so they are aware of what our plans are, and probably invite the neighbors to a commission meeting if they would want to attend a public meeting to agree or disagree or whatever it might be. So that's one proposal that we would like to move forward with this year. Funding for this would be park impact fees because it is a new feature. Wrong button. Next item is downtown Riverwalk. Riverwalk, we all know, is open, it's operational, it's functional. I like to think it's pretty cool. We get a lot of good feedback, bikers, walkers, people that are just down there chillaxing. Some things we still need to complete or continue to move forward with this year is our wayfinding. We got one of our banners here. Rick worked with Serigraph to get our banners printed up. Several years ago, we worked with Epic Creative. They came up with our current design and Riverwalk colors, or our banner colors. I like the addition on the banner that's in front of us here tonight with the Regner Park and the arrow. If you flip that over, it says downtown on the backside with an arrow. I think it's cool because it's a nice wayfinding feature. I think it softens the Riverwalk. We have concrete and asphalt in this and buildings along the district. I think this will help soften that a little bit. So we want to incorporate these banners, some additional signs connecting the Eisenbahn, the Riverwalk to the downtown. Recently, if you've gone downtown by Old Settlers Park, we have the city installed a new electronic kiosk down there that was part of the Main Street project. So wayfinding in these areas are important. Cell phones are great, but when you're walking, biking, to have those banners, those signs out in front of you is important. Also, complete railing We just had some minor warranty work on several areas. All of our railings up, but with the temperatures, our contractor cannot do final adjustments, bolting them down, caulking, things like that. So just some minor things with that. The Riverwalk, the covered walkway, which is what we call, we're trying to get away from covered alley. This is located just to the north of the Bend Theater. We went through during the construction, we did structural improvements to it, new roof, priming, painting, all that good stuff. We're looking at adding some signage on either end. I think some people are still uncertain that is it okay to walk through here or not. We have lots of lights in there and it's good. And we've had early on, we had some requests to have our lights on 24 hours a day. So even during, I'll say, gray days like today, that alley's lit up. So we want to make sure people feel comfortable using that alley during the day or evening. And we definitely want to give them, put up, again, part of the wayfinding is some basic signage. Yes, jump, hop in here, take you up to Main Street or down to the Riverwalk. Other items on the left side, kind of a challenging picture. On the left is Sal's Pizza. On the right is a Ziegler building. In the middle is Vest Pocket Park. We have a couple of walk lights in there that are the old school style lights. We did not include those into the contract because we didn't know where the contract bids were going to come in for the Riverwalk. So some of those, I'll say, extra items we did not include in the contract. Once we get all our bills paid and we have enough money, we're hoping that we can replace those lights in the park. Also, the 2 pedestrian bridges down there. And we're in the process right now of getting some quotes to put in permanent lighting on those bridges. So 12 months a year. The Christmas decorations and lights on those bridges and along the Riverwalk, I think were pretty awesome this year. And I think if we could do 12-month lighting on those bridges, again, we want people to feel safe, security, but I think just the aesthetic appeal would be pretty cool with the white bridges and those arches. So we're hoping if those bids fall in our possible budget, we can get some of that extra work done this year. All Abilities Playground, we talk about fundraising and projects and things like that. We still have our drawings and specifications, and this is what the project would look like or will look like. We still need to put together a grading plan, a connection from this parking lot, or from the parking lot to this trail, or from the parking lot to this playground, and then even the driveway and the road coming in. So we still have some design work to do with this project, which will add to some of the costs associated with it. Time-wise, I'm hoping myself and Rick can pick up this project this year. I'll say blow the dust off of it a little bit and start to work on some of those additional design items. Again, it's been mentioned multiple times tonight when we talk about fundraising and priorities and things like that. The skate park's been around. We've had it in a temporary location now for 11 and a half years. So we have projects that are probably priority ahead of the All Abilities Playground. Some of the big ones we've already completed are the Beach House and Carl Cuss Field and Carl Cuss Lights and the Riverwalk. So some of those big projects are out of the way. This is another large fundraising project, probably the largest one we might ever have in the history of our park system. So we want to make sure we get some of these other projects in line first. And then this is just an aerial view. We did choose Ice Age as the theme for it. We have the Ice Age Trail out there, the geographic features that are left over from our last glacier. You can see the woolly mammoth. We have a saber-toothed tiger and some other Ice Age related features. This is just somewhat of an aerial view of that. So lots of projects on our schedule, as you can see, for this year and in the future. Again, our funding sources are borrowed money, park impact fees, operational fees, grants, revenues generated from the Beach House, the Mud Run, and donations. You look at our Friends of Parks, Friends of Lawrann, Friends of Sculpture, Thunder Baseball, and the service groups and everyone else. Without those organizations supporting this community, supporting our department, West Bend would be a completely different venue. I'll say it that way. So that's what we have for 2024 projects.
The cracked concrete on the Riverwalk by the district, I heard some scuttlebutt from residents. They're fully aware of that, and they're gonna take care of it, right?
The district will be replacing all that, correct? Yes, that is correct.
That's what I told them.
Oh, yeah. No, we will have them replace it, pin it, and re-pour the concrete. Yep. So they're a little landlocked over there,
Yeah.
so.
That's it then?
Yes, sir. That's
Thank
it.
you. Next, we have program fees.
That is me. Before we get started, just because there are a significant amount of changes, the bottom line of the Recreation Enterprise account was heavily considered when proposing these fee changes to you. Just some background, all of my employees, so whether they are instructing dance, baseball, soccer, tennis, working at the beach house, $10 is kind of the threshold for my starting wage for them. So I'm significantly higher, I guess, than the minimum wage that I would be required to pay in the state of Wisconsin. And then that, and then the increased costs of supplies and equipment also is kind of a part of my rationale. So we will jump into it with recreation programs. Archery, I am suggesting $30 for 3 weeks, $40 for 4 weeks, and then non-resident would be $45/60. A big thing you'll see in the notes on the right-hand column is just kind of a fee structure of either $5 per class or $7.50 per class, resident versus non-resident. My rationale behind that is kind of if the program's a specialty, I need a certain instructor to do it. All of my instructors have talents and provide something to my operations, but it takes a special person to go teach archery or dance or some of those quote-unquote special programs. So youth dance, same thing, jumping to the fee structure of $5 per class and $7.50 per class. Youth baseball and t-ball, $4 per class or $6 per class. Basketball, $4 and $6. Mud run, no change there, $30 for the early registration period, and then after June 1st, it would jump to $45. Junior and tiny tot gymnastics, $5 or $7.50 per class. Soccer, $4 or $6 per class. Our softball league, no proposed change there. Sporties for shorties, $4 or $6 per class. Swimming lessons, changing the fee there to match it with what we had done in fall and then winter, spring this year. So going to $45 for residents, $67.50 non-residents. Tennis league, no change there. Tennis lessons, $4 per class, $6 per class. Volleyball, $4 per class, $6 per class. 2 new programs here, end of summer dance camp. This was an idea that Monica, our head dance instructor, and I had. Her program ends August 1st, so there's essentially a month before school starts. With how popular our dance program is, she was up to it, so we are going to be offering a couple sessions of those for different age groups running out of the LRC, so excited to see what that turns into. $60 for residents, $90 non-residents. End of summer tennis camp, same situation, except instead of dance, it's going to be tennis. I reached out to a few of our tennis instructors that I presume will be coming back this year. They had an interest in it. Why not utilize my workers that want to work and try and give back or provide an opportunity to the kids that want to increase their tennis skills. So 60 and 90 there again. First year for both of those. We'll see how they go. Youth theater, increasing it from 99 to 115, just to offset staffing increase. We're fortunate enough to have quite a few people from Spotlight Theater Group that are also on the recreation payroll. That program, I believe, was full, all 40 slots of it within 48 hours of opening last year. So a highly popular program that we're running there. Women's health and fitness, again, just to kind of get on the consistency with the fee, $3 per class, to change it to establish the year-round fee. Contracted programs, no change to our adult learn to golf, no change to the chess camp that we run out of the LRC. fitness boot camp, so that's a Jack Anderson program. He bumped the price on that. I kind of depicted his brain. Staffing was the concern for him for his price increases. Adult I skipped one. Flipping on the move, so that's kind of youth gymnastics. He had lowered that one to 29, but there's not as many sessions of it. Adult pickleball league with Mike McGuire, no change there. Learn to golf, so for youth, no change there. Junior pickleball academy, Mike McGuire program, no change there. Kick Sports USA, which is a Jack Anderson program, $29, so a little bit different than last year. Speed and strength for sports, a Jack Anderson program, increased from 20 to 50. Stretch and walk for adults, another Jack Anderson program, increased from 20 to 50. And then the Reality Art Regner pickleball tournament. So I had mentioned that briefly earlier. That is another hatching of Mike McGuire and I. We are going to be doing that Saturday, June 1st at 9 a.m. We're hoping that it's going to fill with 12 teams. Each team would be 4 players, 2 men, 2 women. And then it's kind of pool play from there. And then the top 6 teams would go on to the playoffs. Of the top 2 overall teams determined by IPTPA rules would determine the top 2 teams that get first round byes and play out from there. So we're super excited about it. And with all the connection that he has in pickleball, he thinks that it's going to be a successful event and hopefully something that we can do every summer moving forward. Regner Beach, I'll go this way. The only change that will be implemented is the Regner Inflatable Zone Pass, which we had covered in the past. $4 per time any individual ages 6 and older with a signed waiver or an adult would like to use the Regner Inflatable Zone.
And that would include the life vest.
Correct. Life vest would be issued by us, yes. And then Courtney and all of her LLC programs, Adventure Camp, Birding in West Bend, Junior Naturalist Camp, and Little Hikers, same fees as 2023 and 2024. No changes there.
Ryan, a couple of those Jack Anderson ones, the ones that went from 20 to 50, is that something that we could do? You have instructors that could do a couple of those? I mean, that's quite a jump for those. Is something you could look at, or?
It's something that we could explore, yes. With his, I'll say I'm blanking on the name.
I get it.
Kick Sports USA, right. I mean, that's more intermediate martial arts. I met with him and his instructors, and they're definitely martial arts guys. So again, it's more of the specialty program. And yeah, I personally right now in West Bend don't know anyone that would be that would teach martial arts just because they don't know it. But we also partner with judo, so it's an alternative, I guess. It's definitely a little less.
One of these is stretching and walk for adults.
Right. So that, I know in 2023, the $20 was per person. The increase to 50 for that would be an entire family. So if Ryan Schmidt and his wife and 3 kids wanted to come, that would all be included in the $50 fee there. Knowing Jack, I would be surprised if he wouldn't potentially prorate it if it was just one person. I can't speak for him, but he's definitely shown flexibility in the past.
Good.
I'd move to approve the fee schedule as submitted.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Ryan. Reports, Chairman. I'll just remind people in TV land, or any of you guys, about the Snowshoe Fridays, 9:30 to 12. I imagine there's enough snow for that now. And also this free sleds out at Lac Lawrann that you could sled down the hill.
Yep.
Something to do, free events to do in West Bend. That's all I got. You got anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to express my thanks to the parks for their efforts on winter warm-up and the fat bike race. They really went above and beyond. They were out there at way too early in the morning in the cold weather and the snow, and just did a fantastic job. Just pulled everything together. So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Good job. And we got the quarterly trust report.
One big highlight that's in there, park fees acquisition for $109,000, often referred to as the park impact fees. Again, those are the fees that we collect from the new residential developments. And those fees, or those monies, can be used only for new development within the park system. So we can't use it to, whatever, remodel a building. It has to be a new feature within the park system, so.
Are these all in from the district?
The district,
Or are they just when they get occupancy?
they have, once they get occupancy is when we get the money. The district is part of it. Creekside development is another part of it. A lot of times we don't know exactly where we get the $109,000 deposit. We would have to go to finance and then development to find out exactly which units and where they came from, things like that, so. But no, $109,000 with a balance at 475 is important. Some of the ideas or for uses, one we talked about this evening was the Vine Street Trail Connection Extension, All Abilities Playground. We gotta wait and see where Phase 3 Riverwalk shakes out yet for costs. Originally, we had $180,000 budgeted, to use $180,000 impact fees for Phase 3 of the Riverwalk. Future Riverwalk, or future park impact fee projects could be Riverwalk from Quas Creek to Riverside Park. You know, when that residential development comes to fruition. So lots of large projects out there. The 475 is very impressive, but there's a lot of, I'll say, expensive projects also that are out there. So 475 is impressive. We will use it wisely. Obviously, anything we use it for comes before this governing body, but like Mike said, that can go pretty quick too at some of these projects, so.
That's it. Thank
Sir.
you. Parks Project Manager, you have anything?
I don't have anything to add over my earlier report. That was long-winded enough, I think.
Park and Forestry Superintendent.
Just a couple highlights, what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. Staff is going through and getting all smaller equipment ready for summer already. Kevin's redoing a bunch of park signs like we always do in-house. One of the signs got demolished by a car trying to leave the Riverside parking lot off of River Road. The driveway had not been salted and the car decided to go over the edge and take out the sign and put it into the middle of the parking lot. So we'll be doing that. Guys are out street tree pruning right now. Last 2 weeks, as everybody knows, has been pretty much snow removal. And we've been short-handed because we provide 2 staff members to Public Works during that whole time. So Tuesday, we opened up the ice rink because we had 8 or 9 inches of ice on it. Wednesday, we shut the ice rink down. So water coming up on the northwest side and the southwest sides. And with the forecasted temperatures, it's not going to get any better. So the last thing is staff came in and worked early, even after all the snow removal, put out 65 ice sculpture stands and placed all 65 sculptures. And I couldn't be more proud of the people that I work with what we did in the last 2 weeks.
Outstanding.
Not a
proud of them,
minute
too.
to spare, you know. So that's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Recreation Supervisor, anything else?
A couple of quick things. So Regner Aquatics, a lifeguard update. So as I sit now, I have 25 lifeguards that have indicated that they'll be returning in some way, shape, or form. Probably early March, I'll send out the availability form to kind of gauge their hours and how much they want to work. But sitting at 25 now, either returning or those that have already went through the course are new hires.
And the goal was 26, right? For 25?
I'm hoping for 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's still a handful of 2023 guards that haven't gotten back to me yet, so that number could grow in a hurry. On top of that, I have 9 applicants that are signed up to take my lifeguarding course in March at the high school pool, so I'm optimistic that the majority of them pass, which would kind of put me where I want to be and higher, truthfully. And then on top of that, even if they don't get all the hours that they would want at Regner, they could teach swimming lessons, pickup hours, beach house attending. We can keep them busy, definitely. So yeah, feeling pretty optimistic about the Regner season. Definitely sitting in a better position in 24 than we were before 23 and all of the unknowns there. Mud Run, I've reached out to all of the sponsors that have been on my plate, and then communications and admin upstairs have taken a couple. Communications, Carissa, the new communications director, has reached out to a couple of new potential sponsors that she thought might be on board. So team effort there. Ordered shirts through KBS. The medals are 99% there. Just waiting on one thing. Carolyn and Tanya have been working on the headbands with the Custom Sweat, a business that we've used for a handful of years, and then the participant wristbands. So all of those things for the Mud Run are coming together. Working on the summer activity guide, prep for that's underway, working with Jacobs and communications. So between Tanya, Carolyn, Jacob, myself, it's kind of a big editing effort to get as many revisions as we can now before it's due in the beginning of February. Swim lessons for the winter have started, as well as gymnastics. I was doing a little bit of a tally, and we have over 100 kids signed up to do swimming lessons in this session. So it's definitely a full house there in the morning. So really fortunate to be able to use the high school to do that. Otherwise, it's a program that we wouldn't be able to do. And then our dance program starts again after the winter break on February 12th. I've started meeting with Monica and prepping for the recital, which is another big effort that takes place at the high school auditorium on April 27th. So a lot of prepping right now for the spring and the summer, but it's a good time in recreation.
Looking good.
Yep. Thank you. And Director, anything?
As we heard this evening, we have a lot of exciting projects for this year, programming, operational needs and improvements. You know, so many times people are like, oh, Park and Rec, what do you do in the wintertime? Well, everything, you know. But I also want to share one quick story about our administrative staff. January 3rd was our sign-up day for all of our facilities for 2024. It's a big day. Carolyn and Tanya get all the T's crossed, the I's dotted, everything ready. Clipboards for me, pens at work. They get Ryan briefed, everything else. Because January 3rd this year was our go date for facility reservations. And this is important to our customers, you know, birthdays, graduations, all those dates they want to grab. Carolyn comes in the day before, it's her vacation day. Everything's operational, everything's working, we're good to go. The morning of January 3rd, our system goes down. So needless to say, everyone in West Bend had our phone number memorized, and they were calling. So Tanya and Carolyn did an outstanding job, just damage control, we had customers lined up, we had customers leaving their homes, driving here because they wanted that date for Riverside Building, for Johnny's graduation party or whatever, because those are important dates. I mean, some of these were weddings down at the beach house, things like that. So sometimes I think about it, oh, it's another facility rental. No, this is important to our customers. So outstanding effort for Carolyn and Tanya to take care of our customers' needs, listen to our customers. I was out in the hallway trying to talk to some of them. The ones I spoke with, generally speaking, they were very understanding. But of course, out of all the days that your program's going to go down, that's the one. So great job for our office coordinator and also Tanya. So thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Being no further business, I will adjourn.